Good morning.
Good morning again.
How are you?
I'm good, lover. How are you?
I'm well too, thank you. So today we're here to talk about who we think this content is for. And it's a conversation that we've actually been sort of pursuing between ourselves for a while, but we really started thinking about it over the course of this week and had a long walk last night and talked about it a lot because, there's no way to say, wow, we're here to address all issues for all addicts or all issues for all spouses or significant others of addicts. Because that's a huge...
That's too big.
Yeah, it's a journey. There's not one prescribed path. And also, we want to make sure that we don't come across as looking like we are, in place of actual treatment or that we are experts on anything. We are not experts. Dr. Mary is an expert on the potato plant cell wall and how it breaks down and when and why you can mash them. So if you're curious about that, this is your guy.
And if you ever wondered how I managed to get married to Dana Del Val, that's the reason.
Yes, it's the potato cell wall breakdown that really got me. Anyway, we don't see ourselves as experts. We just are sharing our quick little journey of this because we hope it might have some value or some resonance for other people. So here's who I think we have settled on for right now, who our audience is. And we're going to tell you why we think this. So we think our audience is for addicts and spouses of addicts who have already hit the bottom and are working their way back up. We don't necessarily think that we are speaking to people who are at 8:30 in the morning somewhere in their house drinking alcohol or taking drugs or doing any of that. Because, and I'll say this and then I'll open the floor to you, okay? What I have been thinking and what I started thinking even in February is if someone else had done this process, if a couple had done this and I had come across it and I had shown it to Maz before he got sober for himself. Will you go shut that door, please, because it's so loud? Thank you. Would he have paid attention to it? And here's what I can tell you definitively. No. Thank you. He would have, if I could have even gotten him to read, watch, or listen to it, I believe he would have said, that's ridiculous. That's not me. I can't relate to this. And he would have moved on. Do you think that's true?
Yes. It's the hardest thing about this is you got to get to a point where you actually want to be able to listen and do something about it. And if you think, well, that's ridiculous, pay attention next time you hear an advert for a treatment centre or even Prairie St. John, who are, in my opinion, miracle workers who are probably underpaid. All these adverts start with the same thing. They all start with, if you think you have a problem with alcohol, phone this number. You have to. You're in denial. You part of the disease of addiction is you do become a chronic liar and not a very good one. But it's the denial of thinking, all right, I'm just fine, or I'm just fed up, or no one understands me, or just leave me alone, I'll be all right. That's the huge problem. That's what you've got to get over. So, I know Dana herself said that desperately tried to get me to listen. You don't. There's loads of things we can talk about, and lots of interesting things since I've been sober. I've been listening to some podcasts from people who are addicts and said, well, this is how I lived my life. And I just thought, good God, that was me. And one of the great things about if you get to the point of saying, I might need some help, or I definitely need some help, is one of the first things you really, and it's quite welcoming, is suddenly you're not alone. You know, you feel alienated, you feel fed up, you feel set upon, you feel attacked, thoroughly depressed, alienated with yourself and everyone around you, and then meeting someone else, and that's one of the underlying issues of actually going to an AA meeting. Is you go into this room and suddenly you think, wow, here's a load of people who are exactly the same as me. It's scary, I will admit, it's depressing, but it's also a source of great joy. It really is. It's just sometimes it's just nice to be in a room where you're not judged at all. I mean, Dana doesn't judge me at all, but well, not. I was just looking nice.
Let's not be crazy. I don't judge him where this is concerned.
Yeah, Thank you, chief editor there. I know there's a fantastic mother-in-law of mine in Minneapolis who's just nodding, going, Dolly. But it's true. Sorry, it's true. You just, if you can make that step, or if you have already, well done. But if you're just on the cusp, you don't need to wait until you've woken up from a 6-day coma, or you wrap a car around a tree pole, or
worse. There are worse things than both of those.
Or your liver stops functioning, or one of your kidneys hemorrhages, or something, or you've got a pancreatic. You've got an ulcer that bursts because of the alcohol. I mean, that's what killed my grandfather, sadly enough. You don't need to wait to that point. You just, if you can, just take a moment to think. Just have a moment of honesty, and it will do you the world of good. Now, like we said, this isn't geared towards people like that need more professional help. But if you're on that, starting this journey, then I think if you're willing to listen, then some of these things might just be of help to you. They might not. You might think, well, that's ludicrous, but even if it gets you thinking, that's a good step forward.
Yeah. So then I was trying to think about spouses and if this would be useful to them. And I was thinking about, let's say 4 years ago, so it's July 2016, we are in the throes of serious addiction at this household. Quinn is kind of back and forth for the summer because he's got some work other places, and then he's home for periods of time, and I am miserable much of the time, not all of the time. That's the other interesting challenge, is that sometimes you were fabulous, so then it was, enough to keep me going, but mostly I was unhappy. And it was, if I had come across this and I had tried to share it with Dr. Mary and he would have said no, I'm not even sure he would have stayed awake for one of the posts, quite frankly. That's how often he was sort of passing in and out of consciousness when he was home. He would have said no. He would have dismissed it. He certainly would not have said, oh gosh, maybe this is me. Mm. And I think it would have made me feel even worse than I felt before. And let me just say to you, imagine a time in your life, if you're not currently or have never been with an addict, imagine a time in your life where you felt bad about your lot in life, your situation, your partner, yourself. Imagine that. Now, 10 times that. Because, as I said on Monday, the reason it's not helpful for other people to judge is because nobody's judging you harder than you're judging yourself. When I go back and look at the journal that I kept during Dr. Mary's time in the hospital and rehab, the sentence that shows up more than any other sentence is, I feel so stupid. So stupid. I just over and over and over berated myself for how stupid I felt for having stayed, for having not known, for having put up with it, for having picked this person. I could go on and on and on. So this wouldn't be helpful This would not have been helpful to me in June of 2016. It would have only made me feel even more hopeless, even more stupid, even more lost, even more self-loathing. So we're not saying to you, boy, if you're with an addict and he's or she is still an addict, shut us off now. Because maybe there will be something that connects with you. But we just want to be really clear that we don't think that that's probably our best entry point into your journey. We think it's after the addict has said, I need some help. Because believe me, I tried to get Dr. Mary to get help for years in a million different ways and got nowhere, got absolutely nowhere. Up to and including after his 6-day coma, medically induced coma, to get him out of alcoholism and to get him sober for the first time in years, including that day where he met with a social worker and said to her, I don't need to go to inpatient rehab. I'm fine. He still wasn't there. So
no, it does take a while. You got to clear your head first too. And one of the things that if it, I don't know if this is going to help. If you're the addict, I know how miserable you actually are if you want to admit it, because I wasn't exactly enjoying myself either. I just didn't know what else to do.
Yeah. So we're here for you if it's useful to you, but we understand that for a lot of people on this addiction journey, you're not ready for this. So figure out how you can take that first step. And we're here after that to hopefully provide some, just a little bit further down the path, inspiration or insight or things to think about, or even just the opportunity for you to say, wow, I relate to that. Because as lonely and as insulated as Dr. Mary was, I was too. So it's not just the addict who feels singular and alone. It's the spouse, it's the children, it's everybody, because we don't do a very good job of saying, of admitting this, because it's scary and because so many people are judgmental of it.
You know, I haven't seen this as often as some people have said to me, but I have seen this happen. I've seen people just walk into an AA meeting and just say, I need help. And I've talked to a few of these people later on down the line, and they said that's, for them, just going into a room and saying to a load of other people who have the same disease that they need help, wasn't a great step for them to get into the next step of trying to see if they can deal with their addiction. You know, if you do that, you don't have to be sober to go to your first AA meeting. It's a willingness to want to admit that you can't stop drinking. So that might help too. You don't have to be stone cold. You don't have to, I drank yesterday, I can't go to my first. You don't have to. If the idea is to try and get some help, and if you, apart from going to see a trained counsellor, a room full of happy, smiling alcoholics is probably the best place to go anyway.
Yeah. So I think that's good for today.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in a plug for the tank top I'm wearing. Off topic a little bit, or a lot. Can you see it? This is my cousin's nonprofit, Time to Be Heard, HERD. She obviously has a passion for elephants, and so she and a good friend started this in Northern California. And you can get baby size shirts. I bought my nieces and nephew matching ones with me, and all the proceeds go to support 2 elephant shelters, one in Thailand and one in Kenya. I'm not sure. Time to Be Heard. But that's another topic. But I just thought you might be wondering why I have elephants on my shirt today. Yeah. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a slightly dressed down version. You know, how much more dressed down do you get than a tank top? But tomorrow will be at the lake. So we'll see what we talk about then. Have an excellent day.
See you later.
Bye.